The history of Athassel Abbey was the same as the rest of the monasteries and priories of the time. They were very violent times, and most settlements came under trouble from intertribal strife and power struggles. And the struggles took place between the Anglo-Irish and the Gaelic lords, and this led to the Athassel and its surroundings being burned in 1319. These shots are from the second floor, if you like, overlooking some of the abbey, a very, very small portion of the abbey. Over there's our friend Michael, the Australian, taking pictures with his phone in this courtyard. That we call it a courtyard because we don't know really what it is. And a very interesting floor arrangement, if you call it, on the second floor. These would be over the monks' cells. They're huge, flat slabs, completely flat. They're there 800 years and they're not a millimetre out. There's an abundance of windows around. There's more of the slabs over a different part. But there are windows. We don't know if they were divided up into separate rooms or were they all one big room, but windows and arches and squares, there's more of those big slabs. And I say they were put down with such precision that you just wouldn't believe for the time that they were done. Anyone doing floors these days should go over there and see how it was really done. The town that surrounded the abbey, it was sacked again in 1329. By sacked I mean it was burned out of it. Even though the place survived after that, but survived under a lot of pressure. And there was constant inter-church disagreements that involved excommunications, bloodshed, abductions, and complaints to the top man, the Pope, until it was surrendered in 1541 during the dissolution of the monasteries. In all, the priory, or the monastery, existed for 350 years. As I say, 1541 put an end to it. But in its heyday, it had around 1,000 acres around this on the banks of the Suir. It had 45 rectories, so the mind boggles. So the land around that you're walking on underfoot when you're outside the remains that are there now were probably all buildings. And after the second sacking, it was remodelled, and a lot of the existing arches were bricked up, but bricked is not the word. They were blocked up with the stone. Probably the fire damage weakened them, and the monks of the day beefed them up with stone. And the workmen, as you can see from looking at these, a lot of that wonderful arches and lancet windows. There's a pair of lancet windows. And outside the monastery, on the walls outside it, there's even little cells and houses and rooms in the outside walls. Today I don't know how much land is going with it, but take note of that long narrow window that was up there on the apex. There's the courtyard again, looking from above, with all those windows around it. There must be a name on it. We had one in Cahir called the Covered Walk. It's reminiscent of Holy Cross Abbey, one such walk as that. Some of the abbey is getting a bit shook now, and I wish that the Board of Works would get their finger out and come to Care Abbey and Athassel Abbey and stop it from falling down. I know there's loads and loads of work there, but when you see the likes of the Rock of Cashel and scaffolding up there for 30 years, you think they'd devote a little time, or a little more time, to Athassel Abbey and Care Abbey, which are on a similar plane here. There's an example of the courtyard being used as modern day, we call modern day graveyards in the last 100 years. A stone with writing that I can't make out. I don't know if it's English or Anglo-English or Latin or what, but it's there. A lot of those defensive windows are known as wind eyes. The outside wall with its gates and all underfoot. At one time there was walls. It was a very, very extensive abbey. There's the remains of walls there where the cameraman is standing in Kieran, getting all the shots that he can around it. There's visitors, or a visitor besides ourselves, coming. So if some Sunday, or any day indeed, that you've a few hours to spare, hop in your car and head for Golden and pay Athassel Abbey a visit. It'll be well worth it, and you can go back in time like the rest of us. Use your imagination. It's just a wonderful spot to visit.